that is on. So at 5:33, we're going to call the Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS Commissioners meeting to order. Present are the three commissioners, Chief, Deputy, and Kathy, and no one from the public. All right. First thing, I did that part. See? Got that out of the way. Okay. Any communications?
No.
Okay. No correspondences? No public, or unless the member of the public, member of the department wants to say anything. Oh.
I have I received an email from the Spears Brothers in regards to the demolition of Center Street.
Oh, okay. That is something different that we haven't talked about. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't. I probably should have put in there under.
Well, that'll be probably part of the 6B will probably be a part of that because that's part of the equation, I think.
All right, we'll talk about it then.
I think that's the logic.
Is that a non-public issue though? Because it's...
I wouldn't think so. I mean, all you're doing is talking about the demolition.
Well, okay.
No. We're also talking about what the Tilton selectmen are asking for the property.
Oh,
That would be a negotiation.
right, so that portion would be non-public, yes.
Well, okay.
We'll get to that when we get
Yeah, when we get there, we just have to be cautious about what we do to be within regulation, but we will probably have to go non-public as part of that.
whatever the bottom line is.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
So,
Just throwing that out there.
yeah, no, please. Keep me out of trouble. All right. Chief's report.
All right, I've sent out the report, I think Friday evening,
It was early.
and if you have any questions upon it, I'll be happy to answer them.
I went through it real quick. I had a couple of budget questions. We have someone from the public, and we might.
Maybe it's deputy.
The deputy?
Deputy
Robinson.
Oh.
Anybody says?
Nope.
Nope.
Hey there.
Hi.
Coming to sit as part of the public meeting for the Tilton Northfield Fire Commissioners?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we started it just a couple minutes ago. We went through public comments, but I'll step back to that if you would like to.
I don't have any comments. I just came to listen.
Okay. All right.
Could I have your name, please?
Sabrina.
All right. So far we've got the public comments, correspondences. There are none. We're now moved into the Chief's report portion of it, where we get our normal updates of the stuff.
And your last name, Sabrina?
McPhail.
So-
C-P-H-A-L?
Yeah.
I see on the cap out of the EMS, page 1 of the apparatus and equipment, you're at 43%. Are you expecting this late in the year that it's going to come in well under the budgeted amount, or do you have a lot left, a lot of stuff to order?
So, why it's that is because we budgeted for the 2 ventilators and anticipated that we didn't know if we were going to get or not, but we got the grant for them.
So that is going to be excess that will go back into the
Yes.
most likely. Excellent. No, that's great. Okay. I saw that one. And I had one other one that stood out as a. It was actually the Safer grant. I saw that we budgeted 280, but we're actually up to 305. Is that because we had to swap out people or something?
So what we did is we took the 3-year grant and divided it by 3 and came up with 280. So last year we were under the amount. This year we're going to be a little bit over amount. Next year we'll probably be short.
Not enough funds, or
Well,
under?
we'll expend more than what the grant allowed. And
Okay.
this is what we talked about in the very beginning, how we said we're going to be under, maybe about even, maybe a little bit over, and it's falling exactly the way as I thought it would.
Okay.
So you think we'll be over next year?
I think our expenditures will be more than what we'll be reimbursed for, because I think we would have expended all the grant money before the end of next year.
So we would have to pick up the rest.
Yes.
Any idea? Any idea?
I can't tell you right now. I have to see what happens at the end of this year, see where we were, how much we've expended, how much is left, and then I can do an assessment of that at that point.
When did the grant start?
Started February 7th of 2020,
Come on.
2021. It ends next, not this coming February, but the following February 8th.
So
Is the
what year?
first-
2024.
Yes, 2024, yeah.
So we have one more warrant article session in, or we have one more annual meeting after this one before the actual grant runs out.
No, we have, this one here, 2023 budget.
Right, so it should,
This next district meeting is the last district meeting we have before we run out, before we have another district meeting. The grant will end before the 2024 district meeting.
The grant runs out like 6 weeks
Before
before,
the meeting.
before the
yes. So does that mean we have to make a decision this year of the funding and everything and put it into a warrant article to implement right away? Or is it gonna be a 6-week gap of there's no money for it to pay people?
No, we're gonna have the budget prepared so that the personnel will be funded, but it'll be up to the commissioners at some point and then the budget committee to decide whether that funding, I'm gonna submit the funding for it, whether you guys will approve it. But at any rate, the firefighters will have to stay on board till February 7th or 8th, I forget which day, of 2024.
But we definitely have to have a public information to let people know what's going on with the SAFER grant. Because that's a very hot topic that has to be out there for public input and for all the work that the committee's done of showing cost offset and things like that, has to be like public information nights.
So,
I mean, we have a budget information night, but I think that's even after the,
we discussed all this
Big
when we accepted the grant,
Yeah.
and so I don't think it's a surprise, should be a surprise to anybody.
we told them that we would come up with, we would be looking at the impacts of the grant before the end of the grant to see whether it was sustainable or not. So that's the information that now needs to get back out to the public too, that yes, we did meet on it, we had all this information. This is why we're coming with the plan we're coming with.
And we had a SAFER committee that met and
Yeah.
came up with some proposals, one of which is a warrant article that will be in this coming district meeting.
This year?
Yes.
Okay, so we're already looking at that.
Oh, yes.
That's what I was trying to figure out, is if we had to do something of that nature to make sure we had the timeline. I wasn't tracking that, understanding the timeline
We
portion.
had to have, we were supposed to have a meeting, but I think it got replaced with a public hearing or something.
It did, it got replaced with the.
So we have to have,
public
another
district.
meeting with the. with
Right,
our-
Okay.
we need, it's scheduled,
just- I don't think
yeah,
we're gonna-
we need to reschedule. It's not
December.
October 14th.
Okay. So you're tracking to have theoretically a warrant article potentially this year to address the SAFER grant before the SAFER grant actually runs out.
So the warrant article will address offsetting costs. It will not totally fund the SAFER positions beyond where we can, but that happens through the budget process.
Yes. Yep.
But in that, if we have a public hearing about it, or whether we do it someplace, at some other time, we'll have the warrant article, we can explain what the warrant article will do to help offset costs, and we can also explain our call volume, things like that, how that's increased, and additionally, we can show how our increase in revenue on ambulance revenue because of having the extra folks on duty. Although that revenue doesn't go directly to the operating account, it's still
It's
a
revenue.
substantial increase in revenue from prior to having those
Okay.
additional personnel.
I just want to make sure we had a chance for the public input before the dollars ran out on that. And when I saw that, and it just raised those questions.
Sure.
You have more on that?
No.
And you're on that committee, so. Sorry, didn't mean to jump into SAFER per se, but it's just with that, the dollar increase that raised the question. Other questions people's got. I do see the chief and other people are out doing inspections as well, just for the record. Since that was kind of,
So,
we were kind of talking about that before the recording, so I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure it's on recording. That we, it's nice to see sharing the experience, the value, and the workload.
where's 120 to 500 on Tony's Road?
So
120 is outlets.
120's outlets, 500 is Five Guys and Starbucks.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
So each
I got
building-
you. I was thinking it was
100, 200, 300.
I was thinking it was 120 to 500.
No. It's a way the locations have to be listed in the image trend
I
program.
shoveled a lot of snow there. I know exactly where 100, 2. I knew 1, 2, and 3, but I didn't know.
400's Old Navy, 500's there, and then Uno's is actually 122 Laconia Road. It's kind of weird.
So this month we actually transported more than was transported by us, which is nice.
Yes.
Engine one, you still think it's mid-December, or you think it might be later now? I
I'm
heard.
thinking it's gonna be later now, 'cause
Yep.
looking at the pictures that we're receiving from the factory,
Okay.
there's a lot of work left to be done on it, and they only have a month to the middle of December from now.
Right.
And, unless they drop everything else and start working on that all by itself, which isn't really the case, because they assign 1 or 2 people in that factory in East where they are. They have about 8 or 9 engines going all at the same time,
Yeah.
and they have a couple people assigned to each one. And they're all in different phases as they go through the plant, and ours is kind of like in the middle.
When we respond to mutual aid calls, the ambulance, is there a town we respond more than others?
Franklin?
I'm just, with Franklin, so close to the hospital, it's, and they have 2 ambulances. I'm just curious why.
Yeah, they're missing 7 people.
Yeah, that's the.
So that's an advantage, is that we're getting money from them. Revenue.
As long as we're transporting, yeah.
Right.
But we made 8 calls, we only transported 3, so that's 5.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they were all there, but if they were all Franklin, that's what it.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I bring that up, because I remember years ago, Franklin used to go to Hill a lot. And the town of Franklin was kind of getting sick of going up there and kind of babysitting them, taking care of all their calls and everything. And I feel as though, I know they're in a tough spot, and it's nice to be able to help them out, but as long as we don't get caught in that
So
spot.
Bristol's doing Hill now.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Franklin's doing
Yes, Franklin does Andover.
And like I said, we're fairly fortunate, we get enough, paramedics there to help them out, but as long as it's not, like I said, years ago, it used to be different.
Access controls, I know we saw that last month.
Yep.
You were working on getting a quote for the front door camera and buzzer.
Brian come in today, or?
I did not see him, but he was stopping in to look things over, and then he was gonna get a price together for us. So
Okay.
I talked to him, and
So are you looking at like a electronic door latch so that you can push a button and they can come in?
We're looking at
we're looking at all options.
all options,
Okay.
and trying to make it easiest for Beth and Kathy to operate and see and stuff like that, because right now our system, we don't have a electronic latch where you can push a button, let in it, and the camera system is like 45 to 50, sometimes a minute behind what you're
Right.
looking
Wow.
at from what's actually going on.
Okay.
It's like the other day, I drove into the parking lot, back into the parking lot, came up to the stairs, sat down at the table, and the guy said, "Hey, look, you're just showing up now."
Okay. Yeah.
So we need to address that.
Yep. I just remember seeing that last month too.
Yes, well, it's still being worked on.
Yep.
Just waiting for the quote.
That one was the last month. You just take for granted, it's the same thing, and it's nice to see the reduction in response time and all that.
Yep.
We're up to 14 call personnel. The new one is this firefighter EMT starting as part of the 14th, or is he going to be a 15th?
This one here,
He's
Yeah.
he's a
full-time.
career person.
Career full-time?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this is your,
This is the
Full-time.
replacement for Deputy Trooper.
yeah, okay, that's your career guy, sorry. And you work on dry hydrants and cisterns.
The Silver Lane dry hydrant is currently being installed. When I checked it around 10:30 this morning, they're getting ready to drop the whole thing in, well put together and everything, so.
Now, once they go and drop it below the water line and backfill and all that stuff, is there people that have to come out and inspect it and all that, or do you guys just
We
hook
do
up
our
a,
own
you just
inspections.
hook up a truck and see if it pulls and
Yeah.
does, functions the way you want?
You gotta ask. This is a, oh, this is a dry hydrant, never mind.
No, go for it.
No, I was thinking it was a cistern, never mind.
Oh.
I was thinking, okay, cistern, who fills it up? That was
Ah.
the question,
So
but it was.
cistern, if, we are planning on putting a cistern in at 33 Vista Heights over the winter.
I'll try something with
We
cistern, yeah.
fill that ourselves, and we do that, send the tanker up
It's
several
like 15
times.
loads of.
Yeah, it's like 15 loads from the tanker.
I thought there was one up there one time. I was sure there was one up there one time.
We pay for the water as it comes out of the,
That
The
one, I think
fill.
is,
yeah.
because you don't want to put any river water in that one.
Like a fishing pond.
Okay. Any other questions people have on the chief's report or budget? Or anything the chief wants to point out that we overlooked?
So how are we covering the short, I don't know what I call it, shortage? Yeah, I guess it was the lack of,
The vacancy?
the vacancy, thank you.
overtime.
Over-
Through January for 2 months, it'll be 2 months of overtime?
Well, at the same time, we're not paying for
Our
health
deputy,
insurance.
thanks for volunteering your time.
It's just about a wash.
Okay. All right.
That'd be pretty generous. Sure, are we gonna look in pretty good for, we got 2 more months to go?
Yep.
Everything looks good on
No,
the
we-
quick scan.
Overall, we're doing good. Of course, the main overages that we have are the diesel and gasoline
Yeah.
Well, it's just,
electricity, but everything else is pretty, within very
okay.
close to where we should be.
There it is. Actually, electrical is not terrible.
No, because we still have the contracted rate till, when's the contract renew
On which chief?
on the electric, for the delivery?
That is in December,
Okay, so that's when our rates will change, really.
yes.
Like everyone else's.
What about the tower, is that,
So, so the tower, all the poles for the tower have been installed.
Oh, okay.
So, the next part, the people working on the tower, we're tired of waiting around for the pole, so he's in California right now, but he should be back, next week sometime and finish up the trench. The trench is, like a few feet short of the pole. They'll dig that up and they'll run the electrical.
For the
and
underground feed.
the underground is, it's already mostly underground, but he's gonna run it up the new pole according to the new standards by Eversource. And then Eversource will come and hook it up, and the fiber people will come and hook up the communication stuff and all that stuff. And once the electricity is up and approved and inspected, AT&T can light up the tower, and then they will start paying rent, and then we'll start getting revenue.
Before their gas lines in?
Yes, because they don't need the gas line. The gas line is for the emergency generator, for AT&T's emergency generator. They don't need emergency generator to operate.
So essentially, they're gonna operate, and if for some reason
If
power
they-
goes out, AT&T coverage is out, but that's on them.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So we're waiting on Liberty Utilities to put the gas in.
Is there a chance they'll do it full winter?
I have no idea.
Because it's awfully tight for digging time.
They have machines that can dig
I
any time
know.
of the year.
They usually dig until January.
And they don't, the gas line doesn't go that deep either. It doesn't have to be as deep as like water would have to be.
Well, doesn't have to go below the frost line.
Yeah.
It doesn't
No,
have to.
gas line, 18 inches.
18 inches.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be, it depends, if it's anywhere they have to drive, it has to go a little deeper.
Okay.
But not much, I think it's 24 inches.
24 inches
Okay.
over
Yeah.
driving service.
That's what I was thinking then, because, all right.
So be it.
All right. Is there anything else for the chief's report from anyone?
You good? Yeah, okay, that's my one question.
Just the one?
I know we had one.
All right,
I thought
so,
I saw a new telephone pole.
yeah. no,
Sometimes those things sprout up like weeds, so.
So reports of committees. Right now, the committees that we have going on is the station committee, which hasn't met. The request for qualifications is out there. When does that close?
The meeting, pre-proposal meeting, or the meeting that everybody must attend is next Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning at Park Street. And then it's a week after that or something like that it closes. I don't know the date off the
Okay.
top of my head.
Tuesday at 10 a.m., okay. Can we make sure that Kevin Waldron is very aware of that time period? I'll reach out to him, but if we can make sure, because he's the vice chair at the moment.
Yeah.
Because they haven't had a meeting yet to change that, because we got the notice after the last meeting.
Next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday.
That's John's department.
Yeah.
Well,
I can make it. I'll do my best. And
It's,
then,
basically, it's just for people who want to ask questions.
yep,
They submit the questions.
By
all the
November
questions.
22nd.
thank
Yeah.
you.
And then the responses for the questions are no later than December 2nd.
Thank you.
And then lots of.
Yeah, so the pre-proposal meeting's on the 15th. The proposals are due on the 22nd. Right? Or is that what you're saying?
The question and responses, so after the,
The responses to the questions was on,
we had a time period in there
Yeah,
that we
Yeah.
said.
it's
that
on,
we-
it's in
they
the,
meet on the 15th, then the questions come in by the 22nd. We have to respond to them by the 9th or something.
second? I think the second.
Second,
You respond by the 2nd, I believe.
the questions.
Yeah, and then
And there's nothing on the RFQ as to when,
the proposals are due.
by the December 9th.
Right,
And then there's nothing on there after that.
right, because that's when
Because-
the building committee will meet. and-
Absorb the material and all
Right.
that. And actually, I believe the building committee had a meeting scheduled for the latter part of this month.
Right, the
anyways.
28th.
Okay. So,
And that was probably so that you all could deal with questions.
yep. And we need to get together anyways and establish the new chair for it and things like that. So we do have some housekeeping as part of it. Plus, there could be impacts from when we talk a little bit further down.
Yeah.
All right. So, did you have anything from your safer committee? That was another committee.
no, because we got bumped for another meeting, so we are gonna meet again in, that was the other reason why I called you today, I completely spaced it, so, we're gonna meet in, December, not September, but December. And then
Paul,
the
you want a
budget,
committee to run?
Huh?
You want a committee you can run?
and then the budget is on the, the budget committee is meeting on the
16th,
16th, but we're meeting on the 15th.
correct.
Yes,
have a life.
I know your feeling. All right,
1, 2, 3, 4 nights in a row at meeting.
Yes,
all
I
right.
know.
Say hi to my family Thanksgiving.
There you go. No other, if there's no other committees that come to mind, we'll move on to old business. All right, let's talk about the special district meeting for Saturday morning.
Okay, so it's at 9 o'clock at the high school in the cafeteria. We should be all set to go. Brian Dunk is doing the sound for it.
Yep.
I don't know what else to say.
I know.
It has to be, it's a ballot.
Yep.
The ballot only has to stay as open as long as the moderator determines. And, I mean, if everybody has their crap together, we can get in and out of there in 20 minutes, right?
There'll be
You
discussion.
just jinxed it.
That would be nice,
Did-
but we know that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, like I said, I
are
don't.
the- Is the attorney gonna be there?
He's been requested to be there as well as the mediator,
That's what I thought.
Judge, escapes me with the.
Judge Walker.
no.
Yes.
I haven't.
That's a female, so that can't really.
Judy.
Judy, Judge Judy.
So she'll be there, mediator.
That's what we prefer. I don't know, I haven't heard
don't
from
really.
Attorney Fitzgerald whether that's
I
gonna
don't-
actually happen or not.
I don't think she needs to be there to
No, I
be
don't
paid
know
for.
why, yeah, I mean,
That's
Well,
another
it's
cost.
because I asked you that question earlier and you said that you wanted her there.
Not sure I do, but it's just more that we're paying out for her to be there at a higher cost, and all she's gonna do is say, yes, they had to behave to each other, and they all had to agree to lose something. We can say that. I mean, she might say it nicer than I say it, but
Maybe not.
no, she'll be more tactical than I am. For the ballot box, we only need one ballot box?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's only one question.
Right. I just making sure with
Yes.
the resources, the school was all set. We're paying a custodian guy for the
Yes.
time period.
Yes,
You
Okay.
gotta pay for police detail too, don't you?
yes, we do.
Okay, so we have a custodian, we have a police.
It all adds up.
We have a
See?
clerk.
Yeah.
I'm curious, that's why I came.
Ask away. It's-
Yep, yes, so if you have a question from the public on this?
Look, I'm just curious of how it's, I called and asked a bunch of questions before, not to you guys, like I
Oh,
asked you when your
okay.
meeting was, and that one got canceled, but I called the aqueduct myself to ask a bunch of questions.
Oh,
And what I was told, as a taxpayer, didn't make a lot of sense to me, so I wanted to come and see what tonight was gonna happen here. I'm curious.
Well, ask away.
You can ask some questions, we'll answer the ones we can, and if not at the public meeting,
Like, my curiosity was, where did they get their number from? Like, that's what I asked. And they said their rate study.
Yes.
And I said, well, who does your rate study? Now, to be fair, I will tell you, like, I don't know that I should, no, I won't say that. Like, I know some stuff.
okay.
so do we. We know a lot of stuff. So.
I know some, when pretty much what the lady told me was, we're trying to pay for their system.
The purification system that they
Yes.
have to put in?
Now, I will say, like, the hydrant by my house is on Colby Road, and I know when they flush it, they run out of water. So, therefore, it's not going to do you any justice to try to use that, and I feel like as a taxpayer, if we have a set amount of money that we're paying for a hydrant, why are there restrictions to it for such a high number? You said you put in another dry hydrant.
Yes.
Okay, like, there's a dry hydrant by my house that might be more beneficial to use than the water department hydrant. That'd be up to you. Like, that's your job. But talking to them, they just said, whenever there's a fire, you guys just hook onto a hydrant. And I said, you are very, very mistaken. So I'm trying to understand where the number came from to get to a lawsuit. I just barely started getting it, but as soon as I heard like millions of dollars, I'm like, what are you talking about? I gotta start, like, I started listening to your meetings, and I said, well, it's on Wednesday, I can come. So
Excellent.
I showed up.
No, we appreciate that.
And then I'm gonna show up on Saturday too. I made sure I had the day off so I could go vote.
Excellent, appreciate that.
But I'm very curious to know, like, what did they tell you? Like, how did their rate study get that number?
They don't tell you how to determine the actual number of what it costs to provide fire hydrants. They just say that the company that they hired
Which, yeah,
helps them determine, but I don't know if I can go into this that much. The ironic thing is what they determined through their rate study was exactly what we were paying them before.
and
and
so
they
they're
just-
trying to double that though, correct? Like, that's the threat?
Well, they're going up in their rates by 4% annually
year,
for the
yeah.
next 3 years due to the fact that they need to cover their costs because everything else is going up.
Another
But-
part of it,
I mean, I'm just very frustrated, never mind. I'm
No,
not gonna
no,
say-
yeah, like that's what I, like,
yeah.
I feel bad, cause I totally feel bad for you, cause I feel like it makes your job easier, but in talking to them, they think that's the only way to get water.
It's an easier way to get water if it's available along the pipelines.
Correct, like at Chalpasta when they were ready to shut you down. Why?
Because they were afraid that there wasn't going to be enough water in the reservoir for people to get up in the morning and use the water, flush the toilets, take a shower. And at some point, they said, well, we're going to have to shut you off.
And as
we never reached that point.
Right, like I won't lie, I was there. Like I wasn't, like my salon's right beside there. Like I was there, and I was. My husband works for the aqueduct, guys. Like so he knows how I feel about it. He feels the same way about this situation. Hopefully they don't listen to this because they might get pissed. But I'm me, and I'm a registered voter. He is not.
Yeah.
So. Like, as a taxpayer, something that's not going to be beneficial to me, I don't understand, like, the number. That's what I didn't get.
That's the same question
Right.
most people
Like,
have.
listening to the public meeting that you guys had, that's what I gathered. Like,
Right.
everybody had the same question, and so I didn't know if you guys got any of those answers.
So,
So my question to them was, how did you determine that number? Because in my mind,
That's what I said.
if you were going to determine the number of how much does it cost for a fire hydrant, how much does the fire hydrant cost? How much did it cost to increase the size of the pipe from 6 inches to 12 inches because we require a larger flow, you need a larger pipe to provide that flow? How much does it cost for you to go to that hydrant every year and make sure that it's dry in the wintertime and they put antifreeze in it because of the way they plug the bottom, so they have to put antifreeze so it doesn't freeze?
Yep.
How much does that cost? How much does it cost to, when you plow the hydrants or shovel them, when you do that? All those things, add up all those costs, and you should come up with a number for
number,
a fire
yeah.
hydrant, but they won't provide that information. I don't think that information was actually used. But I
Like,
can't-
it's just, like, to me, what I understood from Charlene was, and I won't lie to you, I don't think Charlene knew who she was talking to. I told her who I was, but I don't think she really knew who I was talking to, or who she was talking to. But I asked her, I said, I don't, like, how did your rate study get their number? And she said that it's just a rate study. I'm like, is it a formula? Is it, like, how does it operate? Now, then I tried to talk to Roland, because he's the old chairman, and he said, well, it's just a number that they paid forever, so I don't know why you wouldn't pay it. It's insurance. And I'm like, but it's not beneficial to me. Like, I'm trying to understand it. Like, I'm trying to break it down and understand. Like, I feel like there should be a number to pay for hydrants, 100%. But why is the number so, it does not cost $200,000 a year to maintain the hydrants. I don't believe that.
They also have a debt to pay off too, and this one of it.
To you,
A debt.
to you guys?
No, when they bought the system,
Okay.
when the town took it over, they bought it from a private company.
Yeah, Ed Money, right?
And they bought it for a fair amount of money. I don't know if you know the amount or not. It was in the millions.
Okay.
So that's one of the debts they're paying off. And I was told at one time, because I'm a water user, I mean, I pay for my water,
Yeah.
that when that debt is paid for, your water bill should go down quite a bit. But it hasn't. It keeps going up and up and up. So and they've had it for at least 7 or 8 years anyhow.
Like the fact that, like, I've listened, we paid them over $2 million from this committee. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
it is.
Plus, they've improved it over the years, down through the school, down there, all the way to Franklin. They've improved that. So that's another debt they incurred.
But, like, we're paying that money. They haven't, this hydrant right here on School Street has been broken for almost 2 years. Like, I feel like the water, like, I'm pissed as a person who who's in the, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say pissed, but I'm pissed. Sorry.
Like I said, I think the biggest thing is they have a debt. to
So
pay
they're
for.
trying to get the, they're trying to figure out how to get their
They need that
money.
money to pay off this debt.
And they're trying to make everybody pay for that,
So
pretty much.
really where it came down to is there was a discussion when the contract came up in 21, I think it was, and they wanted to go an increase. We had negotiated something that was tolerable for another 3 years. As part of that, we put in there that it had to be approved by the voting body. I
And we
made sure that
defined
clause was in there. It failed by one vote. So at that point, the contract with them for that 3 years was null and void. Period, done. Because we signed it as such, and the 3 commissioners signed it as such. Now the whole litigation process and all that is they're trying to get all the money from that time period up to now and moving forward. As the fire commissioners, our responsibility is for the fire district funds. The water district, they need to figure out how to operate their business. If they have to bond it, they have to do other things, that's totally up to them. But unfortunately, they're looking at the fire district as their biggest source that they can go after because we use it and so they need to have the water on standby for us.
Okay.
Well, having the water on standby means that you should have an operating cost, as the chief said, of how much a hydrant costs for installation and maintenance. And then you have a multiplier. They can't supply that. They have a number by a water study. If we have to go to court, because for whatever reason it goes, if Saturday the voters choose to vote down the mediated agreement between the fire commissioners and the water district, it will have to go to court. If it has to go to court, it will be a jury trial, and the judge there will determine whether
The jury will.
decide who is liable, or if there is a liable or anything like that. And then it will be either we don't owe them anything because the contract said we didn't, and then it's only water usage, which is fair. We've used some water for a couple of fires, and we can meter that out. And a fair, accurate, absolutely, usage that you do that, period. Or the judge could say, well, you know what, we're going to take their rate, and this is what it's going to be, which could be even higher than the negotiated thing. So that's what part of will be explained at the meeting, is that this is the known cost. If we choose to go with this, we know what it is for the next 2 years or 3 years.
3 years.
It does.
3 years.
It
3
does
years
for the
time,
next 3
yeah.
years. If it's voted down, then people just have to understand before they vote. They could be voting for nothing, or they could be voting for more.
Are we gonna get, cause obviously, I can't go to water meetings, I'm not a water user, so I am, but I don't pay a water bill, it's part of my rent.
Yeah.
But are they gonna be at the next meeting? Charlene told me they were gonna be, but I don't know if that's true.
That's
They
their
won't be
choice
at
if
the
they choose to
So to
attend
be
this
able to
meeting.
answer questions like, why can't they give us, why can't they break that number down for us?
It is
Why
a
it
fire
rate study?
a fire commissioners meeting. They are welcome to be there as residents and the action involved. And if they choose to speak in favor or they want to speak up, then the commissioners, I will take a vote of whether it's up to we support them. Most likely we would. And that they can choose to speak. At the last meeting where the vote was taken,
Nobody was there.
it lost by 1 vote and 3 water commissioners were not there. And I'll say that again and again. I believe that they will think differently this time and be in attendance. And it'll be a matter of whether they choose to speak up or not. And it'll,
So at that meeting, you can ask them questions, they don't have to answer it. I
Okay,
think it would be wise for them to answer it, but there's no requirement.
because everybody has the same question, like why?
Yeah.
The why, the where, the when, the how.
Yeah.
Like,
and we can only speak from what the fire commissioner's side of the table of the whole
Absolutely,
thing.
like
And
Well,
Right,
they won't have tables set up so that you can only talk to a water commissioner if they're there, and the moderator allows you to ask them a
Yeah,
question.
Yes.
any questions to them will have to go through the moderator.
which is like to keep it balanced.
well, it's to keep
It's just
order.
procedure
Yes,
and-
that's what I
Procedural
mean
order.
by
And they
balance.
have no obligation to
To
answer.
answer that, they could just
They
decline.
can choose to not, or they could.
Oh, thank you.
But yes, the moderator would allow someone to speak to answer the question if they so choose.
Okay,
So I'll give you an example, because while you guys were talking, I did a little research, my
Okay.
little Google machine
Yeah.
helps me out. So the town of Guilford,
yep, What are they paying per hydrant?
receives 28 pressurized hydrants through the Laconia Water Works.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in their budget for this year was $44,254, which is comes out to $1,580.52 divided by 4, because it's 4 quarters. Because that's how our bill is quarterly, I think.
Yeah.
So it's $395.13 a quarter, which equals $156,000, almost $500. So they're paying more per hydrant than we are. But again, I don't know what they receive. I'm just using the Google machine.
Right, like I know that for a while, they were shoveling the hydrants and then they quit.
Well, yeah, a lot of their maintenance stopped when,
There's only one guy in the field, I won't lie to you, it's my husband.
well, when it didn't get
It
passed.
get past,
they-
like, that's when they started
I mean, there's
bagging
more court
hydrants.
things, like we had to get sort of an injunction because they started bagging
Yes.
hydrants, we had to get an
Like-
injunction, so,
like,
yeah,
yes.
so it's,
Like
Civility went a lot less once it was voted down.
Okay, so like they got mad at you guys and then
I
just.
can't say that. I
Right,
just
you
could
can't
say
speak to that, but, right, like,
civility did
that's fair.
seem to get less.
Totally fair, that's a fair statement. Like, okay,
not for lack of effort, I'll put it.
Yeah, no, we attended meetings with them, trying to work it out before mediation and all that, and
We went to 2 or 3 meetings with them, tried to,
they're just stuck on that number.
they were stuck on it, they wouldn't come down, they wouldn't do anything.
they adjusted the number a little bit, but
Yeah,
still,
it weren't enough.
yeah, and then that wasn't even part of the mediation at that point. That number wasn't,
Yeah.
No, we were somewhere, and they were somewhere.
yes, and there was
Even through mediation,
a
it's
wide,
somewhere in the middle.
a wide difference.
Is this your first, chief, is this the first place that you've been a chief?
It's the first place I've been a chief, yes.
Were you deputy anywhere else? Were you involved in finances, any
Yes.
other departments?
Yes.
How was it there, or where was it?
It was in Tewksbury, Mass.
So yeah, you would have had water right
Oh, yes.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was it there?
So it was, so the municipality, the town of Tewksbury, owned, of course, the fire department.
Yep.
They also owned the water department, which was an enterprise department of the town. As an enterprise department, the water department wasn't funded by the tax rate, it was funded by user fees. So everybody in the town paid whatever the department figured out what it cost to produce the water, and that was part of however many gallons or cubic feet
Yeah.
you used. It's a certain amount of money per cubic foot, and that's what it cost. There was no extra fees for fire hydrants. The only additional fees were if you were putting in a new service, you had to pay the cost of the new service, but beyond that, there were no more additional fees. Like,
Connection fee.
it was a connection fee.
Which is
And you had to
absolutely
pay for the materials and the connection fee. If you had a business and you had a sprinkler system, you have to have 2 fees coming in, one for domestic water, one for fire water. And, but once you paid to have that installed, there were no fees beyond that.
So it's the same kind of setup as what's going on here, because this is a private entity paid by the people.
It's not the same because there are additional fees beyond the
okay.
the usage fee.
So you paid, you guys as the fire department just paid usage, or the usage was divided up as taxpayers? I think I misunderstood what you said.
Well, in Tewksbury, we didn't pay anything. The
Okay.
fire department paid nothing. It was just
They were all part of the same
Yeah, it was all part of
municipality,
the
so it's
same-
just from one line of the county to another for them.
So I can say, I know in Laconia, the water district, the water company's an enterprise fund owned by the city of Laconia. And I know the fire department has like a line item in their budget for fire hydrants and stuff, but there's really, it's just a paper exchange. There's no actual funds exchanged.
Like where this is like cash going to them,
Yep.
but
Yes.
and that's because it's a different entity,
Two
which I
different districts.
understand. And then, like Guilford might pay extra because they're Guilford, they're not Laconia. Laconia's renting that to them pretty much, like,
Well, the lines are in Guilford, but
But
it's
it's
connected
owned
to the
by-
Laconia water system.
okay, like that's what.
There may be other systems in Guilford that are not, that are.
Like Lockmere, right? Lockmere's in
No,
Tilton.
Lockmere has its own water.
Like those hydrants, like, but it's separate, right?
Yeah.
What are we What do we pay for those?
We don't pay anything for those because those fire hydrants, they're really only 2.5-inch flush outs.
Okay,
We really wouldn't use that for firefighting purposes
No.
because we'd probably hurt their system
Okay.
badly.
makes sense.
So,
Okay,
yeah, their system was not designed for firefighting, the Lochner system.
The amount of water that we pull, that just,
We've collapsed all of this.
right.
Collapse ours.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. I'll let you guys keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, please, if there's something, raise your hand and let us know. And we appreciate public coming out and being aware of what's going on and things like that, because there's a lot of times we get beat up on questions and it's stuff that we've answered, but they just
Nobody
don't take the
listened to
time.
the meeting.
They don't take the time, or they don't have the time, or whatever reason, to see, oh, okay. So, thank you for the interest in it. All right. So we have all the people we need there. I know I spoke to Brian, and he's gonna talk to Kirk Young to make sure he has access to the room in
That's all taken
advance.
care of.
Oh, they've already got that done. All right.
I took care of that.
Oh, you did, okay. I talked to Brian last week, because I knew, see if he had an opening in his schedule.
Yes. After I talked to him, I took care of all that for him.
You are good. Okay, is there anything else for the special? We have ballots.
Well, it's kind of related, but not kind of related. But it would be under old business, and it would be the clerk's pay.
Do we want to talk about that in public or
Probably
non-public?
not, but I just throw it out there so it's on the table.
Okay.
I wasn't sure where to put it, but we're talking about the meeting, and
Okay. We'll bring that up because it sounds like we'll be going in non-public for probably B as well then.
yeah.
We'll have to specify.
Yes, we'll have to have several different non-publics.
Okay.
Great.
We'll have three.
Sorry, I asked questions.
No,
No, it's fine.
This is
not
gonna
yet.
happen anyways.
Yeah, we can do this on our own, thanks. We just get to witness it.
And you get to walk away. We're stuck here. All right, so we'll make sure we add that into the non-public as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, sorry, I had it in my notes.
No, I appreciate thinking through everything. Anything else we can think of for that day?
It's gonna rain, so pack an umbrella.
Supervisors are there as well, so,
Gotta pay for them too.
yes.
Yep. Need that. Yep. Oh, yeah. All
And I'll
right.
tell you that, I don't know about Northfield, but I know Tilton, the supervisors worked really hard yesterday.
I bet they did.
We had, I think I was told 115 new registers yesterday.
Wow.
Which, it was like 6 an hour. I mean, you know, like Bernie Chapman, he's as old as the town is. And he's like, he was plugging away right up until 7.
Yep.
And Judy Tilton and Kathy Mitchell, they were just phenomenal.
There's a line over on Northfield. When I went in after work too.
So did, yeah, when I went in there, God, you couldn't find a place back.
So,
All
they're
right.
gonna work, they're gonna earn their money this week.
So special district meeting, 9 o'clock. Everyone be there.
There, be squared.
All right. Sanborn Road property. How much can we talk about in public?
Not much.
Not much.
It's a secret.
It's unfortunately possibly talking about property and costs and things like that, and because of RSAs, it has to be done in
Because of
non-public.
negotiations.
Because
Negotiations.
it could affect negotiations, so that's the reason for that, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well, just letting you know that there's a reason, unfortunately, why we have to do it that way, because it could affect the outcome of it. So we have to do certain things a certain way. All right, so moving along. New business. Anyone got anything new to bring up?
No.
She's gonna make sure. Did people get a chance to review minutes for October 4th and October 26th?
We have 2 sets for October 4th.
Yep.
I had no problem. I read them.
26 is right there. I quickly scanned them before when that first sent them out. That wasn't too thing.
Who sends them to him?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not able to pull them down in here.
Which one do you want? 526.
Please take one, pass it down.
Oh, look at that. What, you made copies of them?
Yeah, she
You're
hasn't addressed us.
non-public.
Oh, the non-public portion. Alright, so this is the non-public one. So, does anyone have any concerns with October 4th public comments? The public session?
Let me go back to that one. Just,
You,
I don't, no.
no,
I'll make a motion, we accept minutes of 10.04, 22.
I'll
public
second that.
minutes.
Public minutes, I'm sorry.
Yep, just,
I will second that.
okay, that being the case, is there any discussion on that? Hearing none other than a yawn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's a 3-0. Okay. Quickly review the non-public from 10-4.
Oh, this,
Which I'm good with, as what it is. Yep. So,
I'm good. I'll make a motion to approve the non-public minutes of October 4th.
I'll
okay.
second it.
PA, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0, aye as well, yeah. Okay, there's your non-public ones back to,
Thank you.
all right, now we'll go up to 10:26.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes of 10:26, 22.
Okay,
I'll second
Eric will second. Is there any discussion on it?
it. Double check, give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, no, that's his budget,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, Beth.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that was what I thought it was. Yeah, no, I'm good.
okay, so that being the case, all in favor? Aye.
All right.
3-0 again. Alrighty. So that covers the minutes up that we had. Okay,
Up until Mondays.
yep, up till Mondays, okay.
What is it even more?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay. Any other business to bring before the district? Is there any other questions or anything you want from the public on this to add? Nope.
What's that, you want to volunteer for a committee?
I do, but what do you have?
Building committee,
Like, when do you guys meet though?
Building committee usually
days and
meets
ends and why?
Wednesdays. Fridays.
second and fourth Monday of the month.
At what time?
5:30 usually.
Yeah, I work till 7. Like, that's why I'm not on any meetings.
Okay.
Like, Gail keeps trying to get me to join stuff, and I'm like, Gail, you guys meet when I work.
Yeah, it makes it hard.
And getting mad or making money, I'd rather make money.
I don't blame you in the least on that. All right.
We can call you boss.
It's,
She means the boss.
Oh, that's right, you cut hair. Yeah, never mind.
I'm kind of a jerk.
All right.
To me, or myself.
To be.
So the next thing we have is upcoming meeting dates. Appreciate having them here so that I'm not trying to figure them out. So November 15th is our next budget workshop here in the Tilton Town Hall downstairs,
Correct.
followed by...
Oh, no,
No,
change of location.
Tilton PD, right?
Tilton PD.
Okay,
That's what I had.
all right.
I got one right.
Tilton,
Which meeting's that? I'm sorry.
Next
budget workshop.
Tuesday.
Budget workshop, please come join the fun.
If I get lost.
I,
if I get lost.
See, I know you got a thing to do, I get you, don't worry.
He does not want to be associated with that one yet.
No, I think you should be, it's good learning.
I would go, but my daughter would not be happy.
She can come.
Gotta balance it all out. All right, then the following one is our next regularly scheduled meeting is December 6th,
Correct.
and that is here.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on, I don't have that on my calendar. Why?
Because we hadn't gotten
we
that
haven't
far
issued
yet.
the December calendar yet.
So
Okay.
that's the reason why
Well-
she's kind of putting them on here, which is nice for us to see in advance. And I
Oh,
love
I
that,
get it.
thank you.
Commissioners meeting, here, Town Hall,
Yes.
5:30,
Yes.
okay. We'll be
I
coming.
will be on vacation the week of the 19th of December, and I won't be back till after New Year's.
all vacations are canceled. We made that motion
Okay,
last
so
meeting.
the 19th, get the last 2 weeks of December?
And probably into first week of January. I'll be back after New Year's.
Heading
Wow. Oh,
To go see the grandchildren?
Yeah, I'm going down.
Don't come back.
On the road again?
It's
let's
nice.
see.
Oh, Christmas is on Sunday this year.
So, I guess other information that, I guess we didn't publish it yet, because did we get the envelopes yet?
Yes, they came today.
Okay.
Hold on a second. So, look, this is the first week
Yeah.
of January.
I ain't got a ticket yet, but it'll be somewhere, New Year's is the first, second?
The day off is the 2nd.
Okay, so it'll be probably around the 4th.
All right, so I'll just mark you on that first week in full. So,
Tropical storm warning in Florida, I should be there.
My
yes.
parents are there.
Okay.
They sent me a picture of it, the waves look big.
So you had something you were gonna bring up as other business, I think, or?
Yes.
Yes, Chief.
So the annual awards holiday celebration will be Wednesday, December 14th at Lockmere, starting at 5 o'clock.
Fine.
Oh, wait a minute, I can go.
December 14th?
Yes. That'll be on the calendar.
Okay.
And you'll get an invitation.
Does that
Yes.
start at 5:30?
It starts
It
at
starts
5,
at
but you can
5.
show up at any time.
Can I show up at lunch?
Yes. Well, no, actually, the club closes this Sunday, so they won't be open. They might be open, the restaurant.
I just added it on
The
there.
restaurant's staying open, I believe Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I
Nice.
heard too, yeah.
Parking lot's full on Sunday when I drove by.
Yeah. The food's
They've
good.
been, the food's been excellent.
Yeah.
Alright, so I put that in there just as a placeholder, so I don't book other things outside of here against it.
Okay.
Alright, so with the non-public, we can't state different conditions. We have to go in and come out, go in and come out? Or can we state all the matters being covered as long as we state them
You
all?
have to do them separately.
Okay, yep, alright.
Well,
Sorry.
thanks for visiting.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks for
Yes.
having a meeting on a Wednesday so I could come.
Thanks for coming.
If you guys have another one on a Wednesday, I'll pay attention.
All
I'll
right.
say good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, how many of those, you have a couple of those sheets?
I have 3 of them out.
No, you plan ahead. No. I gotta fill out all 3 unless you want it.
No, I forgot.
Boy, I'll quickly pass that one back. Alright, so today is the,
Oh, we gotta turn out, oh, we gotta go in.
Not yet.
Yeah,
I'm just starting the basics of it.
And we're gonna start with
11:09.
basics.
11/9, 22. Alright, so, well, I'm gonna do the scheduled one of disposition reports as the last one.
That's gonna be the last one?
Yeah, we'll do that as the last one.
All right.
Oh. No, it's not, because, sorry.
Wait a minute, let me pull this out. Let me pull out one look at it.
Yeah, I think we'll go into the, Sanborn Road first.
So you wanna do,
That will be a quick one, and then disposition, and then we can.
okay, so D
first?
would be Sanborn.
Yep. So that's, alright,
Disposition will be C,
yep.
and then A,
So DCA, okay,
okay?
thank you.
If that's any help.
Yep.
No,
Not yet.
Oh,
Nice and clean, so I get to see it.
Alright, so I'm gonna make a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91A:3, 2D. Consideration of the acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property which, if discussed in public, would likely benefit a party or parties whose interests are adverse to those of the general community. So the motion was made by myself.
I'll second it.
Paul Osher seconded. All right.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, hey, that's what I know. All right, members present are Paul Osher,
You
John
don't take a
Sawyer.
roll call vote.
Oh, and we gotta do roll call, okay. Okay, roll call vote to enter non-public. Paul,
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Eric, yeah, Pyra, yes.
All right, so do I have to put who's in attendance, or I can do that after the recorder?
After we,
Pause the recorder.
At 6:33.
Thank you. That's on page 2, that's what I always missed. Mhm. All right. Coming back into public session at 18:49. Description of matters discussed of final decisions made. Discussion of Sanborn Road property possibility and disposition of Center Street Station. And we are back at that. Okay, and
Do you have to make a motion to see?
do you want to, do you need to see it?
No.
If you do, you're welcome if you want us to. All right, I'm comfortable with turning that one in. All right, next one. Oh, I forgot the date already. That's how wonderful my
the
mother is.
night.
She doesn't say the 11th, so don't.
Okay, I will make.
Is this the clerk one or the disposition one?
Disposition.
This is a quick one.
This is the disposition?
This is going to be a disposition one.
We'll see.
All right, so this one will be C. So I will make a motion to enter non-public session made by me in regards to RSA 91-A:3, 2C, matters which if discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy, if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant. So a motion was made by myself.
Second?
Eric Pyra seconded it. And roll call vote to go into non-public for this.
Yes.
Paul, yes. John, yes.
Yes.
Eric, yes. At the time is 6:51. Stop again. Other members present. Being 7:08, we are back in public session. In matters discussed and were disposition reports. Okay, do we need a motion to seal these minutes?
No.
No? Okay. Alrighty. Then, alright, we've got one more. Alrighty. So, the next one is, I will make a motion to enter a non-public session for RSA 91-A:3, 2A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of such employee or the investigation of any charges against him or her unless the employee affected, 1, has the right to the public meeting, and 2, requests that the meeting be opened, in which case the request shall be granted. Motion was made by me, seconded by
Me. Eric, is there discussion?
there will be once we shut stuff off.
No. On the motion?
Usually there's not, because then we vote on.
Okay.
We can discuss it.
I just
if
had
you
a
want.
question if it's actually
Okay.
an employee or not.
It's compensation of,
I just want to make sure, that's all.
I believe that's what.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it is.
Yep. Okay. So Paul, in favor of
Yes.
myself, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the time being 7:10. All right.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. So non-public was
Start the
involved.
recorder?
I did stop the recorder. The description of matters discussed and final decision made was discuss compensation of clerk for special district meeting. Okay, is there a motion to seal these minutes or not? Is there a need to?
No. I don't think there's
I don't think so either. No? Okay, then no. All right. All right. All right, so we got those done. All right, what's the appetite for the commissioners to continue our discussion from the other night? We going for it? We're not going for it?
So my opinion? But
I welcome it. Page 5.
Okay.
I was trying to find two. Tackle it in, or you tapped out?
I am.
Well, I have a question. I just see it right now. Hold on.
Okay.
And the figures are left. So, on whatever day we were here,
2 days.
2 days ago.
line 110.
Yep.
That, the chief's number was a lot different because it was only a difference of $12,000. Now it's a difference of $111,000.
There was an error in the formula.
So I wasn't going crazy.
You
No,
weren't
you
going
weren't.
crazy.
Okay. All
We,
right.
we fixed
So
it.
for the record, Eric was not going crazy.
I like that in the record. I like the record to show. Well, I even called Tim Pearson today. I said, Tim, listen. Here's this number. Here's this number. It doesn't add up. He's like, no, it doesn't. So,
Well, we discovered the issue and
Okay.
fixed it.
no, that's fine. I just,
All right.
as I say, I'm not the smartest cookie out there, but
All right. So there was some requested information to help work on the career salaries and wages. Did that get mailed out to us? And I didn't get it in my email today.
You have the spreadsheets. There's one
Underneath.
with Commissioner Silly and one with Commissioner Pyra for the
oh,
differences in the prices that you asked for.
Okay.
Commissioner Pyra asked for $1.50, Commissioner Silly asked for $1.
Is this in the that yellow highlighted section?
Yes, that's the yellow highlighted section.
All right. Then, oh, okay, so I was looking at that, now I'm looking at that. I got you.
Okay. So what am I looking at, Kathy? I'm sorry.
All right, so
Page
you have to
5.
look up here. See, this commissioner still.
No,
I
that's
just
not
deleted a bunch of your appointments. So, it says Silly here, and then up here it says Pyra.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
So this
So
is,
you can compare.
okay, so what we're looking at on page 5 of Silly is the $1,
Correct.
which would be about 4.5%.
It is actually 5.1%.
It's actually 5.1%. Okay, and then for the Commissioner Pyra, that's how much of an increase? That's
$1.50.
1.50, and that is a
7 something.
7.6, probably,
Close.
7.6%.
I have that, I didn't bring those spreadsheets with the answer on it.
Okay. All right.
did we come out on that public?
Yes.
we did.
Sorry.
Yep.
We're in public.
Catching up.
All right. So. All right, so, but the 1,302 is still the chief's, so that's the chief's value that you have there, okay, and then the 2 show us the 2,
Correct.
okay.
That's why I did 2 separate ones.
I think I understand. All righty. Commissioner talk time. What do you guys want to do?
So, again, I think it's still important for me to bring up that what I feel I propose
Okay.
is what we need to do to stay competitive within the area that we are. It certainly doesn't keep us competitive with the towns that are south of us and even a couple that are north of us. But to maintain that competitivity is extremely important. All we have to do is look at what's happening in Franklin right now, where when I came here, Franklin was like the place to be. They had good calls, good fire department, a decent payroll, they cover 100% of your health insurance and all that kind of stuff. But they have, for one reason or another, they haven't been able to keep up with the salaries. And now people are just leaving left and right because everything else that they have going for them isn't enough because the salary difference is that much. We don't want to get into that spot, and if we don't come up to where I think we should be, where it was really right in the middle, we're going to be falling back even further than the middle, because everybody else now, except for maybe Franklin, I don't know, they have to do something because they know that they're in deep trouble. Everyone else here is adjusting. And if we don't adjust with that, we're gonna fall behind. And with falling behind, you're losing personnel that we've trained, personnel that know the area now, are accustomed to how we operate, and you lose that experience. And yeah, maybe we can hire somebody else at a cheaper rate because they'd be starting again, but that's exactly where they are, they're starting. And the folks that we have now, a lot of them, let's say for folks that were EMTs and now AEMTs, and they did that on their own, that goes away. We're starting with basic EMTs, and then some fire departments around here are hiring, there aren't enough qualified candidates to hire people that have even firefighter 2. They're hiring them as an EMT and trying to send them to the academy to get their firefighter 2. And one case in Franklin where they hired a firefighter as an EMT, they sent this person to the academy. 3 weeks into the academy, another fire department hired her. She went to another fire department because, oh, you're gonna come out with your certifications, and I can pay you $3 more an hour than what Franklin's paying, or something, as starting like that. And so they're just like, it's sad, really. And that's, when you look at our mutual aid calls, where we're going to Franklin 8 times last month, that's why. They're down 7 people. They can't keep up with their call volume and demand, because their call volume is similar to ours.
Didn't you even have a paramedic intercept?
We've had a couple of paramedic intercepts in Franklin, because they don't have the personnel anymore.
Let me ask you a question. How many do the other towns pay for somebody to go to be a paramedic? Does Franklin do that?
Yes.
It's a limited each year, but it's usually like 1 or 2 that they might cover as part of the career progression form. It's not more than that because of the impact on the force and the overtime and all that, but 1, maybe 2 each year. That's how I understand it.
Yeah, so it depends on the department. I think Laconia has money for 2 right now. The bigger, the bigger department you go, the more money they have, and more flexibility.
The pros to sending somebody to medic school, and then once they graduate and become certified as a medic, you're able to collect higher rates on more of your EMS transports than a basic or an advanced, because they're allowed to do more things and get into, you go to the bike park, instead of, you're able to give them fentanyl and ketamine and stuff like that. You get big numbers for that, big transport numbers for that. Whereas if it was myself or somebody, you can't do those drugs. You can't do those things, and you end up getting a smaller fee for those. So it doesn't take long. It costs us about a little over $10,000 to educate a paramedic. Once they do about 10 runs, we're making money on that. So sending somebody to medic school is a good thing for us. The thing is, we don't want to have so many paramedics that we're not giving them good experience. There's too many paramedics for the amount of calls that we have, so they're not practicing their skills as much as they should be.
Now, another thing with this, and we aren't into policies and stuff yet, do you have an obligation time for anyone that we send to a school like that, where there's a fine if they were to up and leave right away?
5
Sure.
years.
So,
Okay.
yes, so,
That was a long time.
Okay,
yeah,
so-
that was one of the very first things I
Okay.
did when I got
Okay.
here. So if we're sending somebody to medic school and we're paying for it, they sign a contract with us that once they graduate and get their certification, they're obligated to us to stay here for 5 years.
Yep.
And that 5 years is prorated. The longer you stay, the less you have to pay back. And in fact, that actually came into effect for one employee who left us before that 5 years was completed, and they paid us.
Unfortunately, we were seeing this with the police forces, police department saying, oh, you're certified? I'll pay the fine for you. And it keeps the people, but it doesn't keep everyone, because, like you said, another department's like, oh, you finish up paramedic school? How much is your fine? Yeah, I'll pay that.
It's not a fine,
It's
it's a,
Compensation fee.
yeah, well, but some of those have been challenged in court too.
But, you know, I know you're looking to keep everything as low as you can, and I understand that, but at the same time, we have to look at, right now, we're in a good place. We're providing high-quality service to the residents of this fire district. If we start losing people, we're not going to be able to provide as high a quality of service as we do now. And quality of service comes at a cost, and this is part of that cost, that we should really be paying our folks a competitive rate and not less than competitive rate. And that's why I think what I proposed is just fair. We're not asking for a raise, we're asking for a cost of living adjustment that'll keep the buying power of our employees the same as what it was last year. We're not asking for step raises, and again, I know last year we discussed adding incentives for education and certifications beyond what were required, incentives for those. I'm not asking for any of that right now. I just want to keep us competitive, and I felt like if I started asking for incentive pay and stuff like that, it would just muddy the waters where I just want to make sure we stay competitive. And what I propose is exactly that. It's no more, it's no less.
Yours was a $2 or $1.95. It was like $1.95, I
Yes,
think.
$195.
$1.95 at 9.2 or
9.1.
9.1. Okay. I remember some of that. Pretty close. But the difference, roughly, with yours is about 111,000.
Yes.
Whereas a $1 increase is an increase of roughly, raw numbers, 64,300. And a $1.50 increase, which is a 7.6%, would be 90,300. Rough math.
Yep.
Like I said, I didn't do it down.
Can I speak? I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm allowed to. I've been around for a long time. I know I've dealt, Paul, probably 10 years ago now, I did the big pay and benefit study. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen probably more people come and go than Tim Ames, except for Tim Ames here. And for the first half of my career, people wanted to be here because it was a good firehouse, but we didn't have any money. And Paul could attest to this, they just left. Constant turnover, constant. And the commission made it better. They brought us to the middle. We never asked to be the top. We don't want to be Concord. We don't want to be Laconia. Laconia is huge now, the money. We've never asked to be there because we have a really good firehouse. And guys want to be here. I went to a wedding this weekend with 2 past members, and they both said that this is the best firehouse we had. They loved it. And the commission is bringing us to the middle has made people want to stay. And keeping us in the middle is important. I don't want to see us go back to that. I mean, you guys have taken very good care of us over the past few years, and we recognize that, and it's appreciated. I would hate to see Tilton go back to where it was. They weren't good years. we trained somebody, they'd leave, we trained somebody, they'd leave, we trained somebody, they'd leave. It was terrible. The service we were providing wasn't it wasn't anywhere near it is now. It's amazing the service we provide now with this, having 6 paramedics. Compared to when I first started, it was like throwing people in the back of an ambulance and hoping, slapping oxygen on them and what those paramedics can provide now. And again, we do know how much you guys have given us over and keeping us in the middle and keeping us where we need to be is an important step. And, I just wanted to point that out, that you guys have made the steps to bring us to where we are and to be a great firehouse and to keep us in that middle. And it's appreciated, but we just need to make sure we can stay there.
Because if we don't stay in the middle now, next year it's going to be worse,
Potential.
I believe. I mean, I don't have a super seeing glass.
Crystal balls.
Crystal balls, yeah. I don't have a crystal ball, but I have 41 years in the fire service experience that gives me a somewhat of an understanding of what will happen.
Can I just
Yeah.
ask you one thing? Insurance has gone up. We've taken care of that this year. We're gonna pay the difference with that. The other thing too is, yes, you deserve a raise. There's no doubt about it. Everybody deserves a raise every year because of the cost of living. The only thing I'm afraid of, and I'm willing to give, like I said, I'm willing to pay the $1 an hour raise. I know it's not a lot. It's something that we do appreciate, so we're willing to do that and pay for your insurance. However, if we start, throwing $2 or $3 here on top of on this here, it's going to come to the time when these 4 guys that we got, their term is going to be up. People are going to look. It's going to cost over X amount of dollars to keep them. They're going to say, well, we can't afford them. We're going to have to get rid of 2 of them. And that's what's going to happen. So I truly agree you guys deserve more, but I'd be willing to take $1 in the insurance, the up, and say, they've done their best. They've tried hard for you. We want to keep the 4 guys that we got. We don't want to lose them. Because that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, people talk about that all the time. I hear it every day. They got 4 guys. What do they need 4 guys at night for? They can get by with 3. So
Well, they're not here working and seeing what we.
they probably don't see anything. But people, even they don't see it. They say, well, they sleep at night. And I'm not knocking anybody. They sleep at night and get paid for it. I mean, things like that. You hear that all the time. And you're right. People don't see it. I think you guys do a great job. You work hard at what you do, and I'm willing to give you something. We're giving you insurance. We paid the difference on the insurance this year, and we're going to give you, $1. And probably not what you're worth, but there again, it's something.
So another way to look at it, and I don't really subscribe to this all the time, but you pay us not for what we do, but for what we might have to do.
That's right.
And that accounts for, sometimes you get to go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you get woken up at 2 in the morning and have to be ready to go in 3 minutes.
Woken up
Multiple
multiple
calls,
times,
yeah.
and that in and of itself takes a toll on the health of people, the health of our firefighters, and so we have to do other things to help mitigate that, exercise and eating healthy and trying to live a healthy lifestyle otherwise, because the studies show that sleep deprivation and the constant stress of, the bell going off, getting up in the middle of the night, having to rush, not, be calm, and, it's not getting up in the middle of the night and using the bathroom, it's, you're on the go, and that in itself takes a stress on people's bodies and their lives, and hopefully they're not taking it home and putting that stress on their families, but it does happen. But that's some of the other issues that go along with the reason that we pay people a certain amount. The responsibility that we place on these people, that when you call at 3 o'clock in the morning having a heart attack, that you're going to get a good experienced paramedic, at least one, and good service. 2 guys to help carry you, somebody to carry the equipment, somebody to make sure your medications are right and stuff like that. It's not something that you can do with 2 or 3 people. You really need 4 people to perform that function in a timely, efficient manner. It's not like in the old days where.
No, I know, and I understand that, but I just,
And our save rate is so much higher than when I started as a firefighter.
I
Because
understand.
of what we can do and what we're allowed to do now. And our experience level is so much higher now.
But when you tell the public, you know, you're gonna have to spend another $100,000 because of the raises and stuff there versus 50, they could come out and say, no, we're not gonna pay it and lose everything. That's what I'm afraid of, and it's gonna, people will see that too.
I think people will understand that the $100,000 is worth it. Because if, like I say, if you're calling it, no matter what time you're calling, you want people to show up. You want the right people to show
You're
up.
right, I understand that.
And what's that worth to you?
I'm not saying it's not worth that, but it's a risk you take. Do you take some or take none? I don't know, you know, you give it, the insurance has gone up significantly, and now you're gonna ask for another $100,000 for the difference to give them a raise like that. I don't know, I would be happy with, you know, the 50,000 doesn't look bad. When you say $100,000, that's such a fair amount of money to.
We're gonna collect over $100,000 more in ambulance fees this year than we did last year.
Which that is an argument towards the support of the safer fund.
Sure.
So if you were able to show that the safer fund and this could be covered by that, then that would be a better argument for that. But you can't say that the amount of money, the 100,000 theoretically that you brought in, great. But come next year, well, I shouldn't say, come the year after that, now that safer income of 4 additional people for compensation, for benefits and all that, are you saying that you're gonna be able to bring in $400,000 with those 4 additional people to offset?
Even if we had the call volume to support that kind of income, we don't have the personnel to support it.
So it's not an equal apple to apple on that one. Yes, you're bringing in a much higher revenue, absolutely. And yeah, so you bring in 100,000, but we have to be looking at that safer wear out date coming up as well, which
We'll
will
understand that.
So I see both sides of it on that. And another part of that, I know Eric's still thinking, or are you ready?
I have a quick question.
Go for it. I can see the gears going.
Well, I'm thinking of something.
Okay, I'll give you more thinking time if you want.
But
Or
no, I'm just, this is gonna help my thinking. So, when you gave us this spreadsheet,
Yes.
how come the overtime didn't change? Is it part of the base on wages?
The chief
Oh, I
does the
didn't,
overtime.
I didn't change
you
that
didn't-
line.
You didn't put the multiplier in there for,
No, I
okay,
didn't.
for
No.
these, okay. So, because that will be an increase in the,
So that would be the maximum that the overtime.
Right.
at the 9.1.
Yes.
Right. Oh, the 150 is 7.65%.
7.6?
7.65.
I'm asking.
That's pretty close, huh?
Yes, sure. You asked, so I figured it out.
Yeah, thanks. So,
I'm trying to figure out if I can figure with what I have, what the overtimes would be.
I only ask
Yeah.
because I have a,
probably be half. Well, the
It wouldn't be-
$1 would be about half,
No.
No.
it'd be half of the difference from the 247 to the 282.
The overtime 2 rates.
I've got your worksheet out.
No, and the other part of the discussion that we
Yeah, so
discussed,
that's the
Deputy,
way-
because you weren't part of it last year, was
Okay.
that last year we did the
That is
9
correct.
point
So,
to get
Yes.
everything to that median. So to go with a 9.1 2 years in a row, and I know the CID, whatever government thing is saying that, and this is just some of the other logic, plus it's for the camera as well, for people to hear. We take that in fact that 9% this year and 9% this year, I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost.
It's tough. It's-
Right, and that's where we got into looking at would a smaller be a little bit more,
is-
because we have people out there that can't even afford their medical bills or their food versus their gas and things like that, so.
I mean, it's not good here up there.
No.
I mean, gas prices, the oil,
Right.
it's just everything. So
I'll just double
Don't we
check.
get
No,
two back
actually,
entries,
you-
though?
Chief,
No, it's
yours
not,
was
not yet.
4250.
Huh?
Yours was 4250.
Okay.
Okay.
You cut yourself short.
So now I have to do more work.
Oh, okay. So that's why we kind of looked at where it was essentially $2, looking at what half or 3/4 would be as part of our, of the other night when we were here, leading to this and to get this going and for discussion and pass along for all the other effects that come after we figure out salary and budget.
And once he gives us those numbers, I can
Well,
plug them in.
I have a raw number.
Sure, throw it out there.
Well, I'm just thinking.
You're gonna ask for 1.33 and have them calculate all that out?
No.
I dare you. I double dog dare you.
No. My luck,
You'll never get those figures.
the chief will make sure everyone is out sick.
Oh, the chief won't have to make that happen.
No, you'll make it happen.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you would.
Sorry to throw you off your thought.
No, my thought is still strong right there.
Okay.
What are you waiting for my?
Yeah, you had a suggestion, so.
Well, my thought is based on my $1.50.
Okay.
On the $1.50.
Based on the $1.50 one.
But take, to offset some of the increase,
Mhm.
he's far enough away. But because our call wages are trending downward.
Where
I know we
are
already
you
cut,
seeing
I
that?
already, well, call wages are going downward.
we cut 20,000 now.
I know that, let's cut another 10. And then, I know a couple years ago, we cut some of the overtime budget.
Call salaries, you're saying?
Call
Okay.
salaries, yeah.
Call for personnel salaries, I'm understanding now.
Yeah, so take that to offset some of the increase. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
take this, make that 90. Take this and, we cut, I know it's just an arbitrary number to cut, but, okay, if we say 20, now we've cut $30,000 to offset the sting a little bit. I know a couple years ago we cut overtime.
The only trouble is you got more call people now. So you might have,
$60,000 worth?
Depends on the calls.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all-
I know that,
yeah.
and it's a gamble. I mean,
It is.
you know, in 2020 during the COVID, we had almost $90,000. I get it. Who knows what this winter's gonna bring?
True.
I'm trying to play the
Devil's
Looking
advocate.
at all
well, no,
options.
no, I'm looking at the reality. Okay, if we go too low, and people leave, we're gonna increase our overtime. Because look at now, to replace the one person, the vacancy we have. I mean, I'm not math. Is that 2 months away?
Yeah,
Yes.
So
he's worth it, I think.
no.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
But
I'm not
it's
saying
just
that. I'm talking
impacting
about
the overtime
Yeah.
budget.
Right.
the overtime budget. You know,
It's going up.
we're at $215,000 expended so far through October, and we got 2 months that we're gonna have to expend it for this year. So are we gonna go over that? Yeah, possibly. But you know, imagine if we lost more people,
There's an argument for it.
and when you lose someone, especially in like a fire service or even a police department, or even a road agent, you know, a DPW worker, you take that intangible knowledge that they have.
Takes 5 years to,
No, but you just
Yeah.
that
to
knowledge.
train
I
someone
mean,
to be competent.
Yeah.
No, my hip.
Oh, we can take them all back and shoot 'em.
I'm not a horse.
Well, yeah.
So the difference on the cheaper version, the
So the
overtime,
$1, John's version?
yeah,
Okay.
263,443.
260.
And this is for where, or chief?
On the
That's the overtime.
Overtime.
The overtime line.
Okay, it's
And-
gonna be what again? Sorry.
263, 443.
And then 266,598.
Yeah, remember, that's only a
That
portion.
266,
It doesn't make sense.
that doesn't make sense at all.
Well, because it's the difference of the 282 and the 247, that's essentially his 2%.
Should be
So
half.
It would be half of
Should
that
be
difference
270.
between that. So,
271.
that 271, and then because you're a quarter, it's,
No, mine's 50 cents. Oh, yeah, yeah.
yes, but a quarter of the difference is. So that's probably how
Do I
they
have the
came
right
in.
amounts on the overtime amounts?
I don't think the Ira's on this. I can do a, hold on. 282,
Let's go old.
I'm gonna go, I'm
Are
gonna
you looking
do what my
for
wife.
What we just looked at,
worksheet?
Is this the new math that they learn in the schools?
page 3, so go to mine.
Right, so let me come back here. So
So
you
100.
used 4250.
And
Oh, I
so
used the wrong number.
You used the wrong number, yes.
Okay.
So
90
4250 is what you
One.
used,
Yeah,
over X.
okay?
So you solve for that.
Because, and
that's how I
then,
got to that number.
that's how you got to that
Algebra.
number.
Old
And then this
school
number,
algebra.
you used 4175 for,
100.
and this one you used 4275 for.
Take
I
out the
think I
slide rule next.
multiplied it
Yep.
somewhere.
The abacus.
So, let's bring this
Yeah,
one
because
back
that
up.
number will be higher than
Beat
480
around.
something.
Yeah, that's the abacus,
So,
yeah.
here's your worksheet.
Whatever.
So this is the number we're multiplying by.
Okay, so, equals that
John's 266.
times 4175,
266, 100 for the $1?
266, 953,
So then if I
50,
change this to
and then equals that
100.
times 4275? Is that right?
You gave me the numbers on that part.
Well, let me go back there and look.
Wish we just had like a Google Doc where we could just all go in.
That's what she is working
Yes.
on. She's putting formulas and stuff on that one.
Yes, okay.
That way you can adjust this and it does it all.
Yeah. Well, it's like
So-
our budget meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, she used 4250 there, which was,
So-
and then
This
you,
is the wrong.
So I must have figured that number before we end up with the final
Right.
numbers.
you did.
So I underestimated my overtime costs
You did.
in my original budget.
Do you have what your system is saying now?
Okay, for you, for the
For
dollar,
For the $1.
it's 268, 953.50,
Hold on.
268.
953.5.
So rounded to 954.
So it runs up to 954. And then for the $1.50, it's 275,396. I rounded it up to 50 cents.
All right, thank you.
And on the chief's number, this is
Yes,
282?
is his number correct?
No, his was wrong.
Okay, what was his number then?
It hit, oh, wait a minute.
Already crossed it out.
G26.
That makes sense. Algebra-wise.
Go fish. They get like one of those elephants that prints the numbers.
Yeah, and that should have been the. So, yeah, you weren't that far off, Chief. That's what you had,
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
oh, so I
He
overestimated
overestimated.
Okay.
by $2,000.
So what is his?
It should be 280,227.
Okay. All right.
227?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, about 2,000.
Right.
Just save $2,000.
So we got our math. Where do the commissioners want to go on this? Kind of and sensing where you want to go.
Me,
Yeah.
the dog.
Okay. It will be what it will be.
See Paul clicking?
He clicks constantly.
So,
I know, I
a
did
little,
it.
little side note, my wife was telling me there are personality types and stuff like that, and clicking meant certain things, but I can't remember what it meant.
I know.
It wasn't bad, it was just
At work,
like,
I either click or I sit there and go.
And tap, it drives me
Yeah.
crazy.
I work with 5 girls up there, what do you suppose? Cut out clicking that.
I don't blame them.
I know it's a habit.
you can ask
It's a
Kathy,
bad
I
habit.
don't click,
You're
but I
thinking
talk to
something, you
myself,
can-
and
Oh,
that
really?
means something else.
No, I sit there all
She'll
day.
say, what? No, I'm just talking to myself.
I guess so now I say, you
I
talk
talk
to
out loud to
yourself.
myself while I work.
Yeah. Keeps my thoughts straight.
Just my thought.
Yeah.
If we do the $1.50, cut 10,
From the call salary.
yeah, and 15 from overtime, that offsets the difference between,
But cutting the overtime is based on the chief's expected.
I understand,
Formula.
I understand, but a few years ago, we had an issue with overtime, and we cut it. I don't, I'm trying to find a way to increase their salary with that, or find me another place we can cut.
Now, the problem is that this budget was pretty much a flatline budget, and the only difference really of significance
Is the salary.
is the salary increase. Other than that, it would be pretty much a flatline budget that the chief came up with. So he did it pretty tight to begin with. So it's kind of hard to find places to compensate from.
Yeah.
Because he did a good job on that, unfortunately. But the other night, we found out that the percentage increase in the budget is,
More than anticipated.
it's pretty much based on the increase in the salary. It is
Well, and then we
4%
have,
increase
we went up, we doubled our, some of our fuel costs, our electrical costs.
Yeah.
We doubled those, so
Yeah.
they're not flatline, they're.
No, but the overall balance
Yeah.
of it, and that's what I'm saying, is that the increase to the budget is really based on how much of an increase in wages. That's what it comes down to. Because you had your calculations for overtime down in the chief over there.
Yep. I have a spreadsheet for that.
Yep.
Gets us to where we need to
Yeah, which was very logical, and the way you had it out there made very good sense. Because, as you were saying, if we lose another person, or we have an injury of someone who's out for 6 weeks recovery, that overtime is going to quickly get used back up.
Are we we're not self-insured for anything, are we?
Workers' comp.
Workers' comp, we put $500 in the line item, but,
That's through the,
what's
that's
workers'
through New
comp
Hampshire
insurance?
Retirement, that's through the employment security.
Okay.
We are self-insured through them.
Oh, okay. But what's the
Or if they
52,000
get laid off.
of workers' comp? Is that
Well, we aren't self-insured for that,
Okay.
no, we have
sorry.
Primex. for
Okay,
workers' comp.
all right, yeah. For employment, we're self-insured.
Right,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to go way out, we could be self-insured for health insurance.
No,
But you put your
I'd rather-
liability out there, that's,
no, it's one major hospitalization and we're broke.
right.
Right.
See how much neighbor they're trying to.
there are municipalities that do self-insure for health insurance, and they pay a fee to Blue Cross or Anthem to manage it. I know the town of Tewksbury did that.
Yeah.
They had, Tewksbury has 2,000 employees.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go that route, and I don't think any of us have
We're
a,
talking 15 employees and
yeah, none of us have an appetite for that
No.
route.
I wouldn't sleep at night knowing that. God. I'm on the higher side.
Okay,
I'm on the $1.50
so on the $1.50.
Yeah, I'd like to try to save a little bit by lowering something else, but
Okay. And that's why I kept my mouth shut. I knew, I had a feeling it was gonna happen again.
So before you make a decision,
Okay. I welcome all input before I,
with the changes that you're making, with the changes,
today, or,
it also changes the retirement and the social security and Medicare,
because those are a percentage based on that.
because they're a percentage based on that.
Yep, so that would all come down that
It's
little
coming
bit.
down a little bit, yes.
Okay. Are you able to pull?
I'm
those-
working on it.
Okay. No, that's fine, I'll wait to hear that. Because that's all based on the salary value, which was originally based on the 1.95 increase. So yeah, I mean, I'm willing to hear the difference of that.
You didn't already do those? No?
No.
those are just percentages
Just up
based on
above.
what was in the formula.
Yeah, I just want to see how much that shaves off.
Okay, that drops, John, on yours.
On the $1.
That drops the total personnel administration down to 889353.
Okay,
What page is it
we're still in, yeah, I wanted to take a look at everything.
on? Oh, 889, right, page 3.
Page 3, okay, so we can all be in sync. Okay,
So
that's the number again?
889353. So Social Security is 12663. Medicare is 24517. Retirement is 480878.
So what's the difference of about 4,000? 4.5?
Something like that.
Looks like 4.5 thousand. Just under.
That's a difference of $13,307.
Huh? No,
I think you did something like that.
902660.
where'd you get 902?
Yeah.
That's the total for personnel administration.
No, I have 893937.
That's what I got.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay.
wait a second, go back to the chief's original, what was the chief's on that one?
That was 911249.
Is that what you're pulling from?
I don't know.
Yeah, because the one that's listed, Commissioner Silly's, yeah, we had the, like Eric just said, 893,937, with your amount of 889,353 is just under 4.5 thousand.
Okay.
4584.
Just over 4,000, okay. That was close with,
I went the wrong way.
Right, now back to page 5.
Yep. Okay, so, alright, so $1 would also save on, save 4584. And 1.5.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at Eric's, not John's.
So that's the
That's the-
$1.50 is the save of 4,584?
Oh, I know. Yes, we're on John. We're on Eric's, sorry.
There you go, right, Mark.
So
And I put it on.
Alright, so
I'm
Eric's,
writing it on, I'm on John's spreadsheet, but I wrote it on Eric's.
okay. So the 889,353 you just said is actually
Is
for
correct.
Eric's.
No, it's for yours.
That is correct.
That is correct for yours.
Okay, okay, so we're all tracking
We're
that.
all tracking now.
Okay,
Wait,
So-
this is right under yours, this is yours.
yes.
Yes.
So now she's gonna do yours on your sheet.
The total wages and salaries,
For Eric's, it's,
no, for yours, John,
oh,
Yeah.
is 1681545.
455 or 8?
545.
545.
5 or 4. 1681545.
54, okay. There's a lot of numbers going back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to confuse this.
did a good job, actually.
Yeah. Let's wait till 8 o'clock at night. Confuse them.
Right. Can I close John's spreadsheet now?
I think I have it. I don't know about others.
I have it.
Okay.
Do you have it, Eric?
Yeah, I have it
Okay.
too. It's messy,
All right.
but I have it.
Now, we'll go, I'll actually go to Eric's.
Alright.
Alright, so I have to work on this one, wages and salaries. We'll do page 3 first when I get there, okay?
That's Eric, page 3.
I just write this in a spreadsheet and try to scribble it over there.
Okay,
So Eric's total.
Social Security. $12,786.36.
That's what was already there.
Yeah, 74 was.
Medicare, $25,005.36. So 25005.
Mhm.
Retirement. 491,122. So let me come back over here and plug those numbers in so I can give you the total. All right, so personnel administration is $900,085.
So that's 9 3 zeros and 8 5.
Yes.
Okay. Make sure I write that
And the difference in those two. $2,575 difference, I believe.
Okay, are you ready for the total on salaries and wages on page 5?
Yeah.
$1,715,258.
Can you put that over here? This one. Eric's is 1. I think ultimately, in the end, I am going with the $1 It's unfortunate. I know the guys deserve won that, but I just can't see 2 years in a row. I mean, we did cut back on the Chiefs, the 9.5, but still that is an increase of 5.1%. Yeah. That's where I'm going on that. We haven't officially made a motion in a second and all that. There's been a lot of discussion before the fact. But I think we had to do our due diligence that way. So,
Okay, so Commissioner Pyra's proposed budget is up 6.65 from
I'll take that too.
last year.
What page is that on, sorry?
You won't see it because it's,
It's
It's
some
on
of the other.
page 10, really,
Oh,
but
page
it's
10.
not.
So
Yeah.
the 150 would be up how much?
6.65%
65%
Overall.
with all the
with
adjustments.
everything that has been done. And yours is 5.26%.
So we still haven't put in legal
No, you have not.
roads, John's?
5.26. And the Chiefs was 9.11.
Yeah.
Ironically, 911.
Probably couldn't have done that if I tried.
No.
Chief, do you have a piece of paper of where we fall for salaries? I could look at with my eyes, if I could just look at your book briefly when you open it. So the baseline wage currently is, that's part of what I'm looking at, is the baseline wage for everyone. And then I'm gonna look at the comparison one as well.
So this is the one who people are currently hiring.
Okay. Right, which is the current vacancies out there.
Yeah.
All right, our baseline is, right, at where we stand right now,
It's over on the 1960.
19.6, okay.
My proposed was 21 something. It's over there as well.
Right, so it'd be 19.6, a dollar would be 20.6, and $1.50 would be 21.1. Right? My mind is starting to hurt.
We're at 1960,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so $1 would be 20, 60, 50 cents would bring it to
21 and 10?
Yep.
Okay, so it is the right now. My brain's starting to hurt, so thank you.
I didn't even use alpha.
Little formula.
Yeah, it is a cheese and a calculator I've never used before, so. The old HP calculator.
Cross, multiply, and divide.
I don't see it in there. Yeah, it was never, I don't think it was ever asked. Or he may not have gave it, I don't know. And
The
that's-
ones that aren't listed is because I couldn't get them.
Okay. In Belmont, because I never asked the chief, I wasn't gonna step in that lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't give me any information in that respect.
Okay, and I respect boundaries, so that's why I didn't ask that
I've
either.
asked them,
Okay,
I don't even know how many times now.
okay, but yeah, and I wasn't gonna either because
It's,
I like to keep that
they have a
separation.
collective bargaining agreement anyway, so maybe he doesn't even deal with it. He quite have asked me.
Yeah, they get a fixed percentage, in the collective bargaining, they get a fixed percentage, it doesn't matter. Fine. I get TikTok notifications, and I'm not even on TikTok.
Kids.
No, it's just me, I know. My kids send me to TikTok. They're tied to my Facebook.
Alright. I think thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Alright, I'm gonna make a motion that we adjust it to Eric's 1.5 increase.
Second.
Okay, no motion made, it's been seconded. Is there any more discussion on the fact? Not hearing any, I'm gonna call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
So it passed with a 2-1. And it's JC that made the motion and EP is second. Alright, Kathy, you now have the numbers you need to submit and get the process going for all the others.
Yes, I do, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Alright. I don't have it in me to go on any other numbers tonight, unless, hopefully, the other commissioners, where you stand on things.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. I'll second that. All in favor? At 8:21.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
We killed quite a few trees today.